And at the same time, we want to be confident in that if something doesn't go according to plan, that we are able to trust in ourselves, in our own power to deal with problems as they arise. Hey, you're listening to Tarot Songs, a podcast mixing tarot cards with original music created by Sydney, Australia-based artist Feloka. That's me. Each episode, I go into detail over a tarot card and then I layer it with an original piece of music as its soundtrack. The music is especially created with the particular tarot card in mind, making it a very unique listening experience. For the one-card readings, I refer to the Rider-Waite-Smith deck and Barbara Moore's Steampunk deck. I also referred to texts by Joan Bunning, Barbara Moore, and others. It's a pretty exciting journey. I'm really looking forward to reinterpreting the tarot with authentic, original music, and I hope you'll stay with me on the journey of exploration and imagination. I do have to give out a trigger warning, as these cards are inquisitive by nature. I reference experiences, some of my own, some are of others, that reflect trauma, PTSD, complex trauma, anxiety, depression, and other experiences, and feelings that may be uncomfortable or that may feel unsafe for you. The show notes will tell you where to skip ahead so that you can go straight to the music piece. And I will always play the music piece as a solo track towards the end of each podcast episode, so that it may hopefully help you facilitate your own readings or your own creative practice, whatever it may be. Don't forget to subscribe and follow me on social media so that whenever a new episode is released, you'll be notified and you can take a listen. Let's get started on today's episode. Hey, and thank you for joining me for episode 26 of Tarot Songs. We're looking at the Emperor card today. And in comparison to the Empress card, just for contrast and to give context with regards to what's going on between the Empress and the Emperor card. The Empress card is focused on creative energy and creative power. As we all know, the creative process is very fluid, it's very unstructured, and there's a lot of change and there's cycles of change. It can be quite unpredictable. So with that in mind, when we look at the Emperor card, what we're looking at is structure and authority, but also very heavy on patterns and rules, as well as organization, order, almost like there is a perfect system involved. Now with systems, while you have structure and you have an orderly pattern of things and there's certain regulations, it can also feel stifling, like it's a prison of sorts, because there are all these rules and regulations that tell you, you should do this and you shouldn't do that, and that could be quite restrictive. When we place the fool's journey or the hero's journey into this context, it's kind of like a parental figure patiently trying to maneuver the fool this way and that way, just to make sure that they are falling in between the guidelines and that they are following directions in order. That in itself has benefits, meaning you are able to cooperate and work with others, as well as achieving certain things that require that level of organization. However, oftentimes with a sense of order, there also comes a sense of restriction, because it's so rigid and it's so adverse to change. So when the Empress card presents itself in your reading, you're prompted to think about the ways in which you need that order and structure in your life, but also potentially how that need for structure and that need for organization could be setting you back if, say, you're so focused on making sure everything is occurring according to a particular plan, and especially if there are other people or if there's an external environment involved. A lot of those situations are completely outside of your control. So if things don't go to plan, do you have the capacity to deal with when things don't go according to plan? And at the same time, we want to be confident in that if something doesn't go according to plan, that we are able to trust in ourselves, in our own power to deal with problems as they arise. Especially for trauma survivors, a lot of our need to organize and to structure and to plan is a way to maintain our own anxieties, so that there is a sense of certainty with planning and organizing. We have a certain activity booked in on a certain date, so that we know exactly what's going to happen. But often we don't know exactly what is going to happen because it's in the future, and we have no ability to control any of that. So I'd like to be reminding myself when the Emperor card appears, there is an aspect of life that is completely outside of our control, and there is a large sense of uncertainty when it comes to our lives. So some of our power lies in structure and organizing and planning and making sure things are neat and rigid and predictable. But also, it's very important for us to also hold our own power in that should things go off plan, should structures fall, and should organizations collapse, that we have our own power to deal with when situations like this happen, that we trust in our own abilities and the way that we have been very resourceful and how we can problem solve our way through the collapse of these systems that, yes, initially was there to protect us, but also at the same time, we cannot account for unpredictable situations and the simple fact that we don't have control over other people or situations that's outside of ourselves.